Hey everybody, this is a support video on how to set up a Flickr gallery application API key. So we have activated the Flickr gallery plugin through our club-hosted website, and now we are going to click over here. We're in the settings right now, so we're going to get it from here, which of course will bring us to this. We already have a Flickr account, we're already logged in, so we're going to create our first application. So it's a pretty quick process. We could just choose non-commercial key, and then it's going to give us the name of the app, which we're going to just quick pause. So we fill it out, we add some things, we hit submit, bam, we get a key and a secret key, which I probably shouldn't have shown you, but that's no big deal. We're just going to go ahead and request the new key once we've done this video. So then the next thing we need to make sure we do correctly is to get our Flickr user ID. So what I'm going to do is copy the link address. You can always just click on it to open a new window. But I'm going to go here and open a new browser, put it into ID Getter, and then what we're going to do is put our username in of ourselves. So the easiest way to get that is to just click on the U option. So then we can copy this into the ID Getter option to get our username. If you know what it is, obviously you can just skip ahead, but you can kind of see it inside the URL when you're looking at it right there. So, but then we go ahead and go back over to the club-hosted website, we paste in our username, and then now here's what our common default gallery settings. And what this means is when we're inserting galleries, which are photos that are being pulled from Flickr using our application, it'll automatically order the photos, for example, per Flickr, show the size of the photos, for example, as small. You can have photo titles off, photo descriptions off, slideshow behavior, background colors, gallery width. So if you don't want it to be 100% of your content area, you can also disable pagination. So it's all up to you. Now you can always change these settings and you create a new gallery. This is just the default gallery. So then if everything's correct, we should see something down here. Well, we save it, and then now we have to grant access. Now we forgot to do a callback URL, so it's going to give us an error. I forgot about doing that. So over here on the right hand side, that's our callback URL. So we'll actually copy that into our Flickr settings. And to do that, we got to go into the app details. So when we were looking at our secret keys, we click edit app details. Then over here where it says add a website URL, we paste that into there. We hit save, and then that's done. Now when we go back to the Flickr account, we should see a grant access option. Now even though I've done everything correctly, it's giving me an error down below about the callback URL, but this is really just about private photos. You don't necessarily have to do this. If everything's set up correctly, you'll be able to see the photos that have been uploaded right here. So then we can go ahead and do is we save the changes. Now we will be able to create a gallery by going over here and clicking add gallery, giving it a name. So group pool of photos from Flickr, and then right here where it says choose a gallery source, we're going to choose group, and then right here it has our group that we're a member of. So we can select this specific group, and if you have multiple groups, obviously the options will be different. So when we add the gallery, then it will give us a gallery ID up here with this little shortcode in brackets. So we want to copy that, and then we're going to go ahead and add it to the correct page. Now that we're going to be adding it to a photos page, so then we just edit that page. And then to add the photos, we just add that gallery ID. Now I've already set this up so that we give a description that we are using a group pool and that they can join the group by clicking here. So now when I update this page with this new gallery tag down here, now the photos should be on the website. I kept doing the wrong thing, so I wanted to go back here real quick, just in case you're trying to set this up by yourself. You don't have to do this every time if you have already set it up successfully. But over here under the edit authentication flow, you're going to want to make sure you edit that and paste the correct link that was denoted in your ClubHosting admin page. So once you do that, you'll be able to save the changes. Now you can grant access. It'll say access to your Flickr account, including private content. So be careful with what you're doing and what you're adding. And that's why you really only want to have a club account being used for this. You don't want to use your personal account, create the app and the API calls, and then end up having some drunken pictures of yourself embarrassing you. So you can, of course, add photos from your personal account to your club's group photo pool. So this is just, otherwise the admin would be able to go to the add galleries option and then add a gallery of yours under your account. You know, any admin that has access to this page will be able to see whatever account is synced up into this. So be careful. Anyways, so I've added the gallery to the photos page. Now if you notice, the thumbnails are uneven and the background is black. That's an actual setting inside the gallery itself, but I believe we're using default settings for it. So over here where it says photo titles, photo descriptions, it's up to you. Using small photos, 3 columns wide, gallery width of 90%, background color of transparent, and a color box for the slideshow behavior is a good idea. Then you can go ahead and edit the gallery that we've already added, which is gallery 1 called group. Then over here we have all the defaults set. So now when we refresh this page, hopefully it's different. There we are. Now if you notice that some of these are kind of bunched together and other ones are spaced out and they look kind of weird, you're just going to have to play with that in your theme, because 3 columns wide works for us, but it's kind of bumping together. You can always add custom CSS under the advanced settings if you want to space out and add some padding. You know, feel free to do that. And it even gives you a classes link so you can adjust that there. Otherwise, if you tend to use default gallery settings for everything, which is a good idea, you could always change it to thumbnails and turn off the photo titles. Save the changes, go back to your other page, refresh it. Now the thumbnails are more spaced out because you have more width to work with. Otherwise, you know, if you were to use the larger images, which isn't a bad thing, you can always do that. You just change the number of columns. Less columns obviously gives you more space to work with and will space out your photos accordingly. So play with it, find something that you like, and then stick with it. Now, these are photos added by the group as denoted up here. If I wanted to add a link to the gallery of a specific photo set that I have and create it, so for example I have a photos page, at the top are the member submitted photos, and then I add some content down below for my specific albums, I could choose the link thumbnails, and then in that settings of the album, that let's say I'm adding a gallery, I'm going to add a photo set of Club Ride, for example. So then when I do this right here, instead of saying default number of columns and maximum number of photos, I would say I only want to show, let's say 1. And then instead of doing thumbnail photos, I could choose to do 1 small image of 240. And then I want to have my titles off so I can set it up specifically how I want. And then of course I'll have pagination, which means people will be able to go from, you know, page 1, page 2 and view the next photo in the set. But what's neat is if I go to this page of the photos album, I edit the page and then add a title over here. I'm in the HTML editor, so I'm going to switch back to regular. I'm going to paste that gallery ID right there. I'm going to make this big as the H2 font. Or actually, we're going to go H3. And then I'm going to insert a nice little horizontal line right in there. This is a theme specific setting. Obviously, you don't have to do this. It's just what I like to do for demonstration. So now what we have is we're going to have small thumbnails on this page on the top of group photos, and then my specific photos that I uploaded will appear down here. Now if you notice the paginations down here, we can edit this gallery to say don't include pagination below the photo. Instead we could say photo albums, click to view the photo set, and then they'll be able to go through here and start a slideshow of that specific album and then view it through the standard slideshow preview method, right? So then that way you don't have to create extra pages to add galleries, create links, all that other stuff. You can create a single image here, have them click it, it automatically uploads or opens the photo stream on your photo page. Just a suggestion, we also have a column plugin called Easy Columns. Otherwise, this theme specifically has its own column system that we can use. For example, we add some text, click, and then what we can do right here is to create this as a title. .1206. We're going to make this photo albums thing larger. Whoops. Instead of an H4, we're going to give it an H2, which will make it bigger. And then we're going to make this Club Ride smaller. And we're going to give that an H4. Then let's pretend that we have another photo gallery that we want to add called Club Ride .1231. And I don't have any more photos, so I'm just going to copy the gallery ID. And then we're going to make this one H4. Now back to the columns thing, I'm going to use the columns to style this into two different columns. So what we're going to do is copy this shortcode. Actually, we're going to go like this. We're going to insert the shortcode column half first. We're going to take this little bracket that says / column. We're going to put it below the Flickr gallery ID. And then we're going to do another column right on top of it. For the other half. Now, if you're using the Easy Columns plugin, it's going to look slightly different. This is a theme specific for Themify Me shortcode. But it's pretty much the same, and what this does, we'll put two different columns on our page, so then that way we can display links to photo albums but have them appear nice and organized. So that's an easy, quick way. So we have our user shared photos up here as little thumbnails. Anyone that clicks on that will be able to view the slideshow. Otherwise, right here we have our photo albums. Here we have a Club Ride, here we have a Club Ride. They're the same photo album, so it's visible like this. And all we'd have to keep doing for this left-hand column is keep adding a new heading, title, and then a new gallery link below it, and it will keep appearing. Same thing for over here on the right-handed column. So it's really quick and easy to set up new photos. We just like to take 10 minutes to explain it to you. But hopefully this answers every possible question you may have if you're choosing to do this on your own. Otherwise, you'll pretty much be able to figure out what's going on if you looked at the page, if we set up a page for you. because it's going to look very similar to this. You'll have your gallery ID of the photo group. Then right here we have our photo albums. We have our gallery shortcode. Then we have our gallery IDs. We have some columns to split them up. Pretty simple. And the nice thing about ClubHosting, of course, is if you mess something up, you want to go back to what it was before you went in and edited it. Down in the revision session or section, you'll be able to click a page and restore it to the previous state. And you don't have to worry about if you restore it and then edit that, it'll just save a new revision. So no worries. Feel free to play around with it. If you don't like the way it looks, you can always go back to the other setting. And then of course you can always change your sizes of your galleries specifically to that gallery instead of using its default, just by going to the awesome Flickr gallery in your dashboard and then editing the galleries. Any other questions, feel free to give us a shout.